Toronto, Canada's largest city and one of the most vibrant cities in North America, with its incredible food scene, amazing professional sports environment, and most importantly, for players like me anyways, has arguably one of the best YuGiOh scenes in the world. The goal for this vlog series will be to showcase all the various official tournament stores in Toronto and even beyond the city as I participate in their tournaments and prep for bigger events such as regionals, YCS, and the NAWCQ. Hey guys, so I don't make vlogs often, mainly because I don't really know how to make them, but I'm gonna try my best. And so this vlog series will serve as a way for me to not only improve as a player, but also in terms of creating content, because of course YouTube is a fun little side hobby for me. It's not my job, but at the same time, with the growth that I've seen in the last few years, I really want to try to get better, starting with a proper light setup, because this one really isn't working. I'm sorry for all the rings around my eyes, but anyways, so the way I see the structure for these vlogs is that, I'm gonna showcase various locals experiences, and then with the regionals that happen every couple of months, that will serve sort of as a junction point that the vlogs will revolve around, and then kind of rinse and repeat. And so of course there's also going to be the NAWCQ this summer that I'll be attending. I do have my invite, and then also Canada typically gets one YCS a year, so I'll at least be attending that as well. So all very excited, but enough of me rambling. Let's just get to covering today's locals, and that will be Go For A Game. This is a store that is located downtown Chinatown in Toronto by Dundas and Spadina. My good friend Calvin owns the store, so it's a locals that I actually go quite regularly, and so yeah, I'm just gonna be playing branded Despia as always, and so let's just get ready.
Yes sir, yes sir.
Alright, so let's just get started with the actual matchups for today's locals. In round 1, we're facing against my good friend Miguel, who is an avid hero player, and he actually recently finished 9th place in Niagara Regionals with Hero, so he was super close. Anyways, this matchup is not good for Brandon at all because Dark Angel is just straight up FTK against me, so this is very die roll dependent, which fortunately for me, I did win the die roll. Okay, so let's just start on with game 1, and I remember my opening hand was a little bit awkward in a sense that my gimmick puppet lock wasn't as straightforward. I know that's like first world problems. So basically I kind of had to rely on essentially letting my opponent go into the main phase for this gimmick lock to work out with this particular hand, which is not ideal, but it's still good enough. I also hard drew with the one tragedy in my deck, so I ended up still going for the Albion line though, and I would just banish the tragedy in hand off the fusion, and then also I would have to discard another for Rebellion. Not ideal, but you do get to add off of tragedy, and also because I already had kind of like a gimmick line that I saw. Although I do end up making a misplay and I kind of blow that, but I'll kind of explain that later. I did have Ash, Imperm, and Super Poly. I did pitch to Super Poly though, just because of Rebellion, and I knew I wasn't going to have the hand advantage to be able to use that Super Poly anyways. So Miguel is going to start off with the Fairs. I kind of essentially have to rely on using a Mirror Jade effect, and then once that card leaves the extra deck, Clem can bring back the Cartesia that can be summoned from the graveyard, and that's where my gimmick lock would kind of start up. So essentially he does have also the increase available, which can kind of as a trap, quick effect tribute their hero and then summon another hero from the deck. So now at this point I do use Mirror Jade. I bring the Cartesia, but I make a huge misplay because I summon away the Rebellion. I was supposed to use Quem as a fusion target because I have the Branded in red and I don't have any other live targets in the graveyard, and so I needed to actually get that Quem into the grave, and then off loss I would add something like Albaz and go into Sanctifier and gimmick lock him that way. Unfortunately I make that misplay of just leaving the Quem, so I essentially just add the Mercury off loss, but again I have like an Ash and Imperm. You see me use the Mercury there. He has a Stratos, which I have the Imperm for, and of course it is still looking pretty decent in my favor, and I also have a pretty good grind game with this deck of course. So he's gonna do some summons here and there, get the favorite contact, which essentially serves as like a pop, and then he's gonna go with the Fusion Destiny, and again the Ash is like really big here. He's gonna attack over the Quem, and I have pretty big booties right here. He's gonna go into the whatever the Link guy is. I should have used Lulu's effect earlier. I don't know why I kind of forgot about that. Sometimes I don't really bring out Lulu all that often. And Miguel does scoop here, and we're gonna go into game 2. So game 2, my hand is honestly pretty insane. I have Nibiru, like Ash, and on top of full combo, and I even drew out like a Lubra for turn. So it's like absolutely fully cracked. Miguel is going to do his combo thing again. Like Dark Angel can be really strong. I do have Nibiru though, which is insane. I also wanted to save like my Ash in case I get like talent, so I really want to save it until a little later, especially if he kind of like happen to have Fusion Destiny, which is not a searchable card in this deck, but you know, Miguel always seems to have it anyways. So he's gonna do his summons. He's gonna get the favorite contact, which like the pops for the most part against branded isn't that amazing. Sometimes it can be like you do want to get you know, have branded lost like stick on the field, but so there's the Fusion Destiny, so we do Ash there, and now you know, if he were to talents, at least I still have a Nib that is live at this point. I do Nib here, which is again pretty insane. I drew really well. I got incredibly lucky here, and so looking pretty good because I even have, remember that Aluber, I have, you know, like some other branded stuff, so it's really good in my favor. So I'm going to add Lost, which I don't typically do. I usually only do it when I'm going second. Like when you're going first, usually you have like Lobellion that gets you access to the Lost anyways. So Miguel does trigger the favorite contact here just to pop away the Lost, which is, you know, understandable. It is a really good card. I do have Branded Fusion. He unfortunately does not have Ash. He does go into Dark Claw with the mass change, but this means we now go into Dragoon and then just do that pop and burn because, you know, Dark Claw, Banish effect, that is pretty strong against Branded. And just like mentioned, Shifter effects in general for the most part, we do have Dragoon and get the win. Yeah, no worries. Ulti. Plot armor, please. Oh, so disappointing.
Wait, let me get this out of the way.
Wow. Oh, same one. Oh, that's
Alright, so for round 2, we're facing Aiden playing Centurion, who told me it was his first ever locals today, which is amazing to hear. Although, of course, he did make a few misplays, but that's to be expected for anyone starting out. I did have a Swift 2-0 in this match, so we are undefeated so far.
Alright, Aiden, this is your first in-person locals ever. How you feeling so far?
Honestly, man, feeling pretty good. Just really here to learn. Won my first ever in-person game and got absolutely wiped out in my second. So, a mixed bag, but really enjoying it so far.
Alright, so we're 2-0 so far, and for round 3, we're facing against my good friend Dane, who is usually another rogue enthusiast, so let's just get started. Alright, so we're going to go second in this game 1 of round 3, so we did lose a Darryl. Dane is playing Orcus, and he actually just picked up Orcus the day before, so obviously he's going to be pretty new to this, and you know, if you do somehow spot a mistake in this 4 times speed, you know, obviously go easy on him. Like, not everyone can pick up a deck really fast. I know for me, personally, I take a pretty long time to pick up a new deck, actually. So Dane, he does have the, whatchamacallit, Dark Gruffer, as well as the Gear Sulan. He has access to Galatea, of course, which can essentially set like a Orcus spell or trap, so either a Crescendo for the Omni Negate, you have Orchestrated Return, which allows you some draw power, and of course the Babel, which allows the Orcus monsters to be activated as quick effects. So he's gonna go for the return here, which essentially telegraphs that he probably has Babel, because that's kind of like the best one. Just being able to like do Orcus stuff on your opponent's turn, it's kind of like the main deal. So he's gonna go into Dingirsu and then link those away for another Galatea, Babel, and then set 2. So kind of like a very 2019-esque kind of board. I did hard draw, I believe, Dark Magician and Gimmick Puppet, but it kind of works out. I'm going to pitch the Gimmick Puppet for the opening. Aluber, he's going to try to imperm. We're going to Super Poly pitching, I believe, Dark Magician. We have the Mud Dragon up, and we also add the Branded Fusion off of Aluber. And of course, Mud Dragon can provide some targeting protection effect, which can actually be pretty useful as well. We're going to Gold Sark as well. Just kind of also kind of feel, you know, what that other set is. We're going to go for Tragedy, and he's actually going to use the Symbol Skeleton, and bring the Dingirsu, and I guess he can just send away the Mud Dragon. We're going to go for Quem here. He's going to imprint that as well, and so we're just going to go with Branded Fusion. Gets Ash though, unfortunately. We're going to set 1 and just pass return. Not looking too good for us, unfortunately. I'm just kidding. It's a Fusion Duplication. So we are actually going to go full on Gimmick Lock here, because remember, we did pitch that Gimmick Puppet earlier with the opening. So we're going to essentially also trigger Quem and bring it the Kertige as well. The Sanctifier also summons the Aluber, which gets us another branded spell or trap. And then now our opponent is Gimmick Locked as well. So from just that 2 cards on my field ending the turn, we are actually in a very dominant position. He's going to try to attack. We're going to go into Granule at this point in the end of main phase. And then we're going to use Granule Effect to dump. We dump the Ash Dragon just for some plays at the end phase as well. He's going to attack over the Quem and also the Granule. I cannot get over the Sanctifier, fortunately. He's going to go with the Foolish. Again, he cannot special summon for the rest of her turn, so it is still pretty deadly. So now in end phase, we're going to add back the Cartesia. We're also going to summon the Albaz off the Ash Dragon in the end phase. Pitch that Cartesia, we just add it back and go into Mirror Jade with the Dingirsu, or rather, yeah, Dingirsu, and then use also Mirror Jade effect, also send the Albion Dragon so we can add that Brandon Red all in the end phase. And then we also, of course, have that Brandon Fusion that we added off Aluber earlier. He's going to try to bring back the Dingirsu as well. Then we're going to send Albaz and Lebellion. We're going to summon out the Albion Dragon here. Use its effect, and he's gonna send away the Sanctifier. And I forgot to mention the Granule also triggered on that Dingirsu summon because he used the monster effect to special summon monster, so that's what summoned out the Maximus. So we're also resolving our Lebellion fusion here, which essentially gives us an option to go into Dragoon now. Gives us a really easy way to attack, or rather burn first and then attack for a game most likely. And so we're going to use Dragoon, pop the Dingirsu, he takes burn damage for 26. We also have like Brandon Red, so he does basically scoop here at this point. So we're going to start game 2. He does get to go first, and again, I have a really good hand because I believe I drew Droll and also Nibiru. So it's a little cut off here, my apologies, the camera angle was not the best. He kind of started with like the Steady effect and then drawing one, and then that's where I drolled. He does have like some Horus lines here. So he has like a couple rank level 8s rather for some rank 8 play, and so he's gonna summon out the Vampire. He's gonna mill 4 for both of us and special summon. Our mills aren't that bad, like Lebellion's kind of nice to have in the grave, and Merc, you know, that might come up in the future as well if we can just summon out an Albion and banish that, and we get the plus off of that as well. Or let's say you have like something like Quem in the future, and that can also kind of bring it back and kind of threatens like a monster negate as well. He's gonna use the Harp effect here. Eventually makes the Galatea. Gets the Crescendo, so for that Omni negate, but you do need to have the Link Orcus monster for that to be live. And now that he uses a Symbol Skeleton effect to revive, which essentially means now I am more comfortable in terms of being able to Nibiru. I was kind of worried if they still play like something like Link Spider, where they like link that off and then, you know, they can still make into like another Galatea or whatever. So fortunately, we are able to kind of go off here. Again, fusion deployment, Nib, Droll, I mean, honestly, that's pretty good, plus combo, and we're gonna go with Hard Make Albion using Cartesia's effect, and we're gonna again make Lebellion, and that Merc that we banish, or rather we milled off the Vampire, kind of comes up as well. We do get to kind of plus off here, and then we're gonna be able to summon out the Mirror Jade, and then we're just gonna attack for game here.
I can't even see that one. You know it's good when you can't even read the card, yeah.
That's sick.
Okay, oh, that's a good one. Alright, that's pretty random, not gonna lie.
Okay, so we're facing Tristan and his Punk Horse strategy at table 1 for the final round, who I've showcased on my channel several times. We end up tying this round, so not bad at all, and overall, another good locals experience as always. Alright guys, so that was it for episode 1. Hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please let me know so that I know it's worthwhile to continue this series. I'll continue to showcase other official tournament stores in Toronto and various tournaments in future vlogs, so stay tuned. Again, thank you all so much for watching. A huge thanks to my patrons as always, and take care guys.